battery-operated magic toupee, the podcast. Journey to dimensions of existence even more moronic and idiotic than ours. Alternative universes of such stupidity that we've constructed the battery-operated magic toupee. Warning! The following comedy is intended for mature audiences and for those not easily offended. If you're of a delicate disposition and offend easily, for example, if we refer to you as a silly cunt, we recommend stop listening immediately, cancel us now, and fuck off. The battery-operated magic toupee, the podcast. There are many different schools of thought in psychology, such as behaviorism, which was attributed to John B. Watson, the psychodynamic approach by Sigmund Freud, Max Wertheimer's Gestalt therapy, and others. One of the most recent schools of psychological thought is the controversial literal method, invented by Professor Friedmorten Smerton. And we're fortunate to have Professor Smerton in the studio. Professor, tell us a bit about your work.
I'm a literal psychiatrist, and we deal with therapy problems by handling them in a literal way. For example, this is Mr. Frederick Frequenson. He was diagnosed as being anal retentive. We had him confront his anal retentiveness literally. To treat him, we had him experience being literally anal retentive, and we had his anus retained. That is, we sealed his anus by inserting a specially designed pressurized butt plug. We had him retain everything in his anus. Nothing escaped. He experienced being anal retentive.
And how did that turn out?
Not too good. His asshole exploded. It was a mess. Some media claimed spontaneous combustion. It wasn't. His bottom exploded. We had to completely redecorate the office.
I must add, for those at home listening, do not attempt to completely seal your anus. Professor Smerton is an expert in gluing people's rectums shut. You should not attempt to lock up your poop chute without a qualified expert present.
This is Eric. Eric suffers from zoophobia.
Zoophobia.
Fear of wild animals. In Eric's case, mainly raccoons. You see, as a child, Eric was frightened, terrified by a raccoon while masturbating in the woods. Eric was masturbating in the woods, not the raccoon. We needed to have Eric have love for animals again. There's only one thing for Eric to do to overcome this fright: have anal sex with a raccoon.
And how did that go?
Well, not too good. Well, here's a recording. Oh, here, raccoon. 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 Oh, here, raccoon. He's still in the hospital, poor dear, scratched to pieces. The raccoon didn't like it.
Where do you think he went wrong?
He probably went wrong by just jumping into it. If you're gonna have anal sex with a raccoon, you gotta warm up the raccoon a bit with a little bit of foreplay.
And I must add, for those out there listening, do not attempt anal sex with a raccoon. Professor Smerton is an expert. He knows how to have anal sex with a raccoon. Do not attempt anal sex with a raccoon on your own without a qualified expert present.
This is Craig Goodsman, whom we diagnosed as having an Oedipus complex. So we needed to have him confront his Oedipus complex literally. He needed to fully experience it and act it out. After we organized for him to kill his father, we needed to arrange a way to have him sleep with his mother. and it needed to be a surprise, a shock. So we checked him into a hotel room. We told him it was part of the therapy for him to have sex with an anonymous woman. And unbeknownst to him, the mysterious anonymous woman was his mother. As he was having sex with his mother, we turned on the light and he saw that this woman is my mother. And that threw him into a total state of shocked revulsion.
Shock revulsion.
Yes, shocked revulsion. You see, his mother was 88 years old and not in the best of shape. As a matter of fact, she was voted as the owner of the saggiest tits in the Schmutz home for the elderly. Such droopage of tits has never been seen. She was never a very attractive woman, but all those wrinkles and folds of fat and the smell. However, he came out of the initial shocked revulsion.
And how is he now?
Not too good. He still had to go to jail for killing his father. Not to mention the blindness.
And I must add, for those at home listening, do not attempt to murder your father, gouge your eyes out, or have it off with your mother on your own. Professor Smerton is an expert in killing Dad, tearing out his eyes, and doing it with his mom. You should not attempt to ice Dad, scrap your sight, and bang Mom without a qualified expert present. After the break, we'll speak with a man who suffers from venostrophia, which is the fear of beautiful women, and we'll introduce him to my sister, with whom there should be absolutely zero fear whatsoever. My sister has a mustache and a quadruple chin. We'll also meet a man who suffers from philantophia, the fear of kissing, and we'll see what happens when I plant a big one with tongue on him. And we'll meet a woman who suffers from papyrophobia, the fear of paper, and we'll ask her the question, what? Are you fucking nuts? It's fucking paper. Get over it. It's fucking paper, you loon.
Wait a minute! Hold it right there! Stop! This is the end of the sampler! If you want to listen to the rest of this thrilling episode of the battery-operated Magic Toupee, click on the link below, or listen to it on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And listen to this.
As we gain a higher understanding of stupidity, we gain a deeper understanding of ourselves. Hence we bid farewell to the battery-operated Magic Toupee, pooting and spooing and farting thick brown smoke as it dimly staggers from reality to reality on its moronic mission.
You have been listening to the battery-operated Magic Toupee, the podcast. It was performed and was written and produced by Elliot Stein. Copyright 2024, Gargoyle Entertainment. Thank you for listening! That was a sample of an episode of the battery-operated Magic Toupee, the podcast. Please click on subscribe and like and all the other cool and generous buttons that are on whatever site you just listened to this on. That helps us a lot, and we really appreciate it. What you just heard was a sample, a taster, and if you like the taste, come listen to the whole podcast on Spotify, Apple, and other cool podcast platforms. And if you really liked it, really liked it, come be a member, a paid subscriber on the battery-operated Magic Toupee, the podcast Patreon page for the complete uncut episodes and lots of other cool shit. Each episode takes 2 solid weeks to create and lots of resources to produce. It costs money, and we rely on the generosity of our members to keep the comedy going. And you can visit our webpage at BOMT.UK for battery-operated Magic Toupee.
And don't forget to tune in to the next thrilling episode of the Battery-Operated Magic Toupee, the podcast.
Toodles!